Two guys who have made it their business to look at things in a whole new way and explode some myths while they're at it. They have a brand new book. It is called Super Freakonomics. And this morning, they're looking at something considered almost a sacred for parents, car seats for children. Americans spend $300 million a year on car seats. They must work, right? Here's John Berman.
You look so handsome.
You have a kid, you have a car, you have a car seat. It's the law. Of course, if you have a car seat, chances are you fought a brutal battle installing it.
Now I'm lost already.
But it's worth all the trouble, right? Because car seats are the safest thing around, right? Well, the Freakonomics guys say maybe not. The government says car seats reduce fatalities by 54%. But that 54% is compared to kids sitting in cars unrestrained altogether. What about seatbelts? The argument has been seatbelts don't fit kids. But Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner say for kids over 2, there's no real difference in the fatality rate between car seats and seatbelts. And the number of serious injuries are about the same too. Part of the problem might be 80% of car seats are not properly installed. But Levitt and Dubner commissioned their own crash tests and found for kids ages 3 to 6, seatbelts do just as well. Still, critics are unconvinced, pointing to a new study showing car seats reduce injuries and that crash tests can't measure harm to the stomach.
It is simply false to suggest that seat belts are as good as car seats or booster seats at protecting young children in the event of a crash.
The Freakonomics guys say car seats do perform better in preventing minor injuries. But it does raise the question, what if kids had seat belts that fit? For Good Morning America, John Berman, ABC News, New York.
Seems so simple, doesn't it? Every parent who has lugged a car seat through an airport is going to be very interested in this discussion. Joining us now, the co-authors of their new book, Super Freakonomics, just out today, Stephen Dubner and Steve Levitt. Gentlemen, thank you both so very much. Car seats, you know how people feel about this. It's sacred to some parents. I understand that when you were doing your tests, you had a difficult time finding a lab that would conduct this. This is a highly controversial subject, and you don't shy away from it.
No, it's probably not even the most controversial subject in the new book. We also write about terrorism. We tackle some of the conventional wisdom about global warming, which will probably make some climate activists a little bit unhappy. Really, if you think about it, though, car seats and global warming, our approach is very similar. These are problems that we want to solve, too. We have 6 kids between us. We want the Earth to keep spinning around and being happy as well as everybody. It's just that the problems are often being addressed by solutions that aren't the best solutions. So we try to look for better ones.
And you're looking for better solutions. And you have 6 kids between you, as you said, between the ages of 5 and 9.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
But Steve, let me ask you this, because there was a new study that was released on Monday from the journal Pediatrics, and it found that children ages 4 to 8 in a booster seat, 45% less likely to be injured than kids that are not, that are just in the car. So how do you respond to that? 45% less likely.
Yeah, so we use very different research approaches, this study and the one I've done. The research I've done uses all the government available data sources, every crash over the last 30 years that we can get our hands on. And this other study actually goes and surveys parents after a crash. So you get in a crash, and in conjunction with a large insurer, they call you on the phone and they ask you whether you used a car seat. So the difference is, in the government studies, the police go and look into the data. It's their job to report on the accident, see whether someone was using the safety. When you call someone on the phone, a parent, they have very strong incentives to not tell the truth, whether it's guilt or fear. I just think it's much more reliable to go to the police and ask the police what their opinion of what kind of restraint was used, not to go to the parent.
Could be a factor, but you know, parents, they really feel like, boy, they believe that they're doing everything they can. Sure. When they have the car seat. So let's talk about some other solutions there, Stephen.
Well, you know, here's the thing. We all want to protect our kids. The point is, if you have a safety device like the car seat that's been around for 40 years, that's federally mandated, and 80% of the parents who use it, and they want to do it right, they have incentive to do it right, can't do it right, you have to start to ask, is it the right safety device? So you know, there are a couple simple solutions that we wish would be more widespread, or at least looked into. Fold down seat backs that basically are kind of built-in booster seat, wherein the seat belt then fits properly, and you don't have to affix a whole other piece of machinery that's made by another company not to fit the car.
And we've seen it in a few models, not very many.
But again, when the government tells manufacturers, tells parents that they have to use an external car seat, they do. There's also the 5-point harness seat belt, the kind that race car drivers wear. It's pretty You know, we might not want to wear it, just like you might not want to wear a fireproof suit to go to the grocery store like NASCAR drivers do. But if safety is the primary concern, there are better options. We should be working hard to find better, cheaper options.
But you aren't saying throw out the car
Don't
seat.
throw out the car seats. You'll get arrested for one.
That's right, I know, exactly. And 2 and under definitely should be in a car seat.
Definitely 2 and under. But even the older kids, it's not that the car seats are any worse than seat belts. They're a little bit better. So we're not telling people not to wear them. But the real thing, above all, of all the things you can do in your life, if you want to keep yourself alive, buckling your own seatbelt and putting your kids in some kind of restraint is one of the simplest things you can do to keep yourself.
Well, you guys always make us think. Thank you so much for being here. And we want to know what you think at home. You can weigh in. And you can also read an excerpt from their book, Super Freakonomics, at abcnews.com/books.